Following the FSCA's April 2026 interview on the crypto and derivative markets, financial media painted a picture of a regulator hostile to contracts for difference. However, those abbreviated media summaries omit critical context. This executive briefing is based exclusively on Oracle Compliance's analysis of the verified, unedited interview transcript, capturing substantive supervisory points that never made it into the press. For authorized Category 1 and Category 2 financial services providers operating in South Africa, the stakes here are absolute. Gerhard van Deventer, head of enforcement, recently disclosed that his division has opened over 360 new cases and issued at least 130 public warnings this year alone, a volume he characterizes as a drop in the ocean compared to actual market conduct. The transcript identifies two specific enforcement priorities: the expansion of illicit signal selling networks, and the direct operational nexus between South African FSPs and unverified offshore derivative providers. Maintaining a license in this environment depends on producing documented, visible proof that counterparty relationships and marketing channels are walled off from the illicit market. To understand the authorities' focus, we must look at the dominant scam typology currently prioritized by the FSCA Enforcement Division. This flowchart illustrates the typical illicit operating chain. It begins with an unregistered, unqualified finfluencer selling trading signals via unregulated Telegram and WhatsApp groups. Once trust is established, the operator funnels subscribers onto a cloned or fabricated trading platform designed to mimic a legitimate broker. Behind the fake interface, client money is routed directly into mule accounts to obscure the ultimate beneficiary, while the platform displays fabricated profits to encourage further deposits. The press seized on a specific phrase from the FSCA regarding this chain, quoting the regulator characterizing the CFD market as a zero-sum game. Read in its proper context, the regulator was strictly condemning the inherent conflict of interest where a single illicit operator simultaneously gives trading advice and acts as the principal counterparty holding the risk against the victim. If the client loses, the advisor wins. This is entirely distinct from legitimate pure intermediation, agency trading, or properly regulated matched principal business models. To ensure they are not legally categorized alongside these scam typologies, legitimate dealer models must explicitly document their principal risk arrangements and rigorously execute their conflict of interest management policies under Section 3A of the General Code. This brings us to the most critical compliance vulnerability. The transcript reveals an active supervisory hunt targeting the intermediary side of the regulated population. The FSCA is explicitly looking for FSPs whose product provider arrangements involve unlicensed or high-risk offshore over-the-counter derivative providers. Any white label, introducing broker, or referral arrangement with a foreign ODP currently presents a severe regulatory liability if that entity is not appropriately licensed for the exact activity it performs with South African residents. This graphic demonstrates the core regulatory expectation. A foreign entity's home jurisdiction license is not a valid defense if their activity engages South African ODP licensing under the Financial Markets Act. The regulator is mapping these networks and has identified specific jurisdictions as elevated risk environments. Counterparty arrangements with entities domiciled in Cyprus are currently flagged by the FSCA and will attract immediate, close scrutiny. Israel has also been designated as a primary jurisdiction of concern regarding the operators originating from it. During an inspection, key individuals and frontline representatives will be required to demonstrate exactly how they satisfied themselves that the ODP behind their product is appropriately licensed. Claiming ignorance of an offshore partner's true regulatory status is no longer a viable defense. South African FSPs are held entirely responsible for any regulatory contamination that flows upstream into their domestic operations. Enforcement teams are also fighting a rapid and dangerous escalation in tech-driven fraud across the sector, specifically focusing on highly convincing AI-generated impersonations. The technical sophistication of these deepfakes exceeds a layperson's ability to detect them, routinely targeting international tech figures to lend false credibility to fake platforms. Local syndicates are applying the exact same technology to South African corporate executives, wealth figures, and even FSCSA personnel, including the commissioner. Parallel to this is the sale of fabricated AI-driven trading robots, promising automated returns. FSPs that permit third-party algorithmic execution tools on their platforms must urgently review the disclosures and appropriateness frameworks surrounding those offerings. To combat these cross-border threats, the FSCA is finalizing protocols for the IOSCO iScan platform, an international counterparty database expected to be publicly available soon. Public warnings issued after the fact are entirely reactive. FSPs are expected to implement active upstream content filtering, rigorous corporate brand monitoring, and rapid takedown protocols today. Regulated CFD platforms are distinguishable from the scam segment through visible risk management, marketing discipline, and documented counterparty due diligence. That distinction must be objectively demonstrable on inspection through a paper trail of counterparty diligence and marketing discipline. Oracle Compliance has issued a 30-day action mandate. First, audit all ODP counterparties for appropriate offshore licensing. Second, map your affiliate network against FAIS marketing and conflict of interest obligations. Third, restrict your CFD target market to clients utilizing discretionary capital, excluding retirement savings. Finally, implement deepfake incident response protocols to protect your identity. Key individuals are instructed to execute these steps and memorialize their completion by producing a formal board paper detailing the firm's response to the advisory. Please direct any queries to your designated Oracle Compliance Officer for immediate operational assistance in implementing these controls. Robust counterparty diligence and verifiable marketing discipline are no longer optional best practices. They are the baseline regulatory requirements to retain a financial services provider license in the South African derivative market.